Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on, oh goodness, it's Friday the 1st of October, so pinching a punch for the first day of the month, and no return, so get that out of the way. Okay, so what we've got leading ahead for us today, in fact let's look at the news first. We haven't got non-farms as we normally have on the first Friday of the month, but we do have, let me just get the right day, that's yesterday, update this. Chinese bank holiday. Aside of that then, we've got German manufacturing out this morning, 8:55. We've seen some softer numbers coming through. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. It's not a great mover anyway in terms of risk, but we'll see in a market where the euro's been given a beating. GDP for Canada at 130. It's not the biggest of movers either, and the 3 o'clock ISM manufacturing figures coming out in the US, again it's not the biggest of movers. Why they've got these as reds I'm not so sure, but anyway, there could be volatility around them. There is some risk around them, to be fair, but not a massive. Let's go on and look at the currency markets then first, and just looking at, just checking something, yeah, it sounds working properly. Just looking at the euro dollar first, and euro sitting into its weekly 200, and it's already tapped its 100 and now the 200. Is it going to roll through this? Well, there is a possibility. It's sitting there at the moment. It's got no other support areas really. It's sitting there in free fall potentially. Well, I'm saying no other support areas. It's into its weekly S4, which it rarely ever gets down to, but it's done a good job of it this week. Consolidating where it is again. More consolidation around the lows suggests further lows, but we'll see. There is some marginal divergence coming up through on the hourlies here, and that so could see a correction. We've got a new monthly pivot. Actually, I can only see it on this time frame because it's so small at the moment. But there you go, right up there at 116.85. Now that could, coming into next week, become a bit of a target if it does get any sort of bounce coming out of this. But we've just seen it day after day, consolidation, drop, consolidation and drop, and that's it. As the way it seems to be playing out at the moment, at least. Now, as I say, there is this sort of sign. What would make this a little bit more bullish is a break above the highs here. Make a break above the highs from around about 1589 sort of area. Break above that would certainly look more bullish. Right, okay, that's the euro, pound. So pound again has just come out to the weeklies. It's getting to that point where you need to just see what other support is coming into play, and we got the weekly 100 still possibly drawing below. The dollar has been so strong of late, and well, yesterday it did actually get a bounce in the end on the pound, and it looked half decent. But you look at the way it's shaping up at the moment, it looks like it's just in its next move down, maybe. A break again, looking here, we'll get a higher low if it breaks the 35.21 area, and well, it would look a bit more bullish then. But weird old day yesterday as you look through the morning. It came down, it double bottomed, and then it just consolidated, looking like it was going to roll some more, but managed to push up there. But as I say, it's just lower highs in this shorter time frame at the moment. Not really got the legs to do too much, and that's the way these markets seem. It's looking at the dailies here on the dollar yen. In fact, it's just come out again, another step on that, and you just see that it's been into its prior highs. It's maybe found a bit of resistance around those on the weeklies, and yesterday came down quite a reversal. It's quite a solid old day on the yen in that respect. A bit of divergence around the tops there, broke the low between the two highs, and off it went. And solid Solid day down. No, never really looked back. A little bit of retracement through the Asian session here, but heading south again towards its new monthly pivot at this stage at 110.82. Surprised it got quite so high at the time, but there we are for now. As I say, heading south, bearish engulfing at the current bar as well. Continuation bar looks like it's got some more potential to the downside there. Aussie dollar, well, it's just been on a daily basis, it's just been so consolidated with the odd step down consolidation starting again now. It makes it for a range trading currency, so it means it's effectively stuck back here when it was in that sort of movement consolidation. It's just ranging, and it sort of looks like it could be ranging again now. If it breaks down lower, well, it could be just running back to those prior lows before it catches a bit of a bounce. Just looks soft at the moment, of course, but trying to bounce just before 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock comes, and we often, with all these markets, see some weird old stuff coming on as the bots and whatever else are kicking into play. The extra volumes fly through quickly, so you can get some real weirdness. But the mornings have been so poor compared to the afternoons. The afternoons give much bigger movements of late. US session, Canadian dollar. US session really leading the way. Canadian dollar softening again this morning against the US dollar, strengthening against the Canadian dollar here. Again, so rangy, ugly to look at. I mean, you try and pick the trend out of that. There isn't one. And again, it's just that sort of a bit like the Aussie in terms of the consolidation. It sort of phases it gets into. At the moment, it looks like it's onto a decent bounce, and well, may have some more legs in that coming down the time frames. You just see the new monthly pivots underneath there. It's bang on it. It's not got much to go at. Picture pulling up okay at the moment. Can I see anything into that to trade? No, is the answer. It's very difficult picture. I mean, I don't know. It's got a bit of a bullish previous candle bullish there, and it may now just push out through the highs here, but it can be a bit unreliable first thing. Right, that's pretty much that. Let's just look at the euro yen cross pair. Okay, well, that's on a daily basis looking southbound for sure at the moment. Slowing down here though, with the momentum just coming out of this smaller bars coming through the Asian session. Looked like there was a bit of divergence across those lows, and it still does actually. More look at it, just slowing up here. Now if will either give you a bounce or more consolidation, and that's what we seem to be getting at the moment. We do have a monthly pivot above. Great place if the opportunity comes, maybe to look to see a reaction off that. But as I say, at the moment there's divergence. There's a bit of a conflict here because it breaks that 129.05 area where the kicks. For me, it pushes the more positive potential from the divergence. But anyway, for now, looking soft and consolidated. Breakdown of the lows here. Of course, we've got quite a flat level of lows. It might just roll off south. Right, okay, that's the euro yen. Let's get on and look at the commodities. Gold and oil. So gold this morning, bit of a bounce sitting there yesterday. Just looking at where it is at the moment, it did get a bit of a buyer's bounce. Look, was it a dead cat bounce or a reversal? Was always the question here. Such a up day there, up out on the afternoon. Such a move coming through at the end of the month. Bull flag as it sits on the hourlies and looking bullish. I'm very wary of it. I have to say, we've got the daily pivot sitting below. It's oddities here. Daily sitting below. I don't know. It's still might get a bit more continuation, but bigger picture to me, I'm still looking. I think it's just coming to the trend. Let's just draw that through there. Yeah, it's just short of the trend. It's pretty close to it, isn't it? There you go. Popped it on there. It's pretty close into the trend line. If it can break that, well, then it becomes a little bit more bullish as well. And we'll get if it break this level here at 1764, it's a higher low come through, and it, as I say, may get more continuation. I'm not particularly bullish on it myself at the moment. Oil snagging a little bit where it's sitting here, quite rightly so. As I just find it, China's selling off some of its oil reserves, buying gas, really messing up the world's energy as much as it can, I think. So not massively surprised a bit of stalling here. Plus we've got so much potential reserves to just switch on. Countries have been keeping their allocations limited. It's getting a mess here. Basically, you look at it on a 4-hourly basis, and it's put a lower high in its lower low sort of situation through there. It's a bit messy. Is it rolling? Is it? And you get down to the hourly, and, well, maybe if it breaks below the daily pivot here, it's got some more potential downside. Saw it yesterday at come midday. Actually, it came a bit early. It just started rolling off quite quickly. Personally, as ever, I would look to be trading this afternoon and making a judgment from where it is at the time. But it does look like it could be making even an earlier break. But it can be quite fickle in the morning. Right, okay, let's have a look at the equities. Morning, Stanley and Nahid. Jane, morning all. Let's look at the S&P. I'm going to just look at the S&Ps on my chart software here because I prefer it. Can flick through it quicker. Okay, so I mean, I said the other day it just looked a bit more bearish, and sure enough, it's confirmed that yesterday. This morning, really, yesterday almost, but it's confirmed this sort of as a major, to me, a much more significant lower high, and this market's rolling at the moment. Without any doubt, retracements become potential selling points at this stage. I mean, the big money for ages has been edging its way a little bit and a little bit at a time out of the S&Ps. It did make me wonder if they ever sort of would sign that. Well, we're seeing that at the moment. It's sort of a bit more confirmation. We've seen it over the last week with lower highs. This move here that rolled over into yesterday, and it's confirmed another lower high. So at the moment, the US equity market, especially S&Ps here, looking soft, but just really retracements of the opportunity. Now it's not even diverging here, just lower highs, lower lows all the way through this session here. Quite weak. Now that would suggest, if I can open the right one, there we go, and we'll look at the it's not as high as I thought it would be this morning. 1.48. It's dropped back a little bit. I was just wondering whether we were going to see a continuation in the yields as treasuries were being sold, but not really. They've been, if anything, being bought back a little bit here. Okay, so equity markets. Let's have a look across on the Hong Kong CSI 300 there. Dancing around a little bit, had a little bit of an update, but I'm still thinking this at some stage may roll over. It's not at the most bullish markets, and yet again we've seen it on the Nikkei. Look, it's just following the S&Ps basically. Another large sell-off there, and of course you've got Evergrande sitting around on these markets. It must be making things look even as they continue to not pay their payments, the interest payments. Looking in London markets this morning, well, there are no surprise to see the FTSE following as well. So equity markets, equities being sold quite strongly this morning. It's done already today. The whole movement of yesterday. That's a big move down there on the FTSE. Checking the DAX, and DAX the same. In fact, I'm just going to go back to that FTSE. This is quite a weak looking movement it's done here. Maybe preparing for next week for more downside at this rate. It's It's a very weak looking pattern, and we're getting the same here with the DAX, even more so in a sense. We've got lower highs coming through potentially. If it starts breaking the high from the 20th of September, sorry, the low from 20th September gives it another significant lower high. And the French CAC, similar picture. So being sort of, if you're bearish on these, and well, they're pretty much living up to it, so all running down. Going back to the US there, and you see the run off there of the 100 and the Nasdaq and the Dow both following suit, selling off. Okay, very quick look here at the crypto market here. Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin's held up quite well yesterday, and not doing too bad at the moment, but more dollar dependent than equity dependent, of course. So they're holding firm across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, all holding firm at the moment. So we're just seeing this sort of consolidation sort of phase continuing. I'm still not bullish on these whilst they're sitting where they are. I mean, as I said, if they start breaking above those recent highs, well, the picture may change on them. We will get higher lows, and maybe then we'll get something of a continuation. But the more they just sit around here, they're just not going anywhere significantly at this stage. And I'm just thinking, well, it makes for any movement back to these lows an easy drop. Right, that's it for me. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you on Monday morning. Bye for now. Where's my there you go.